I've not seen this, so we're watching this together as friends on the internet. This happened a while ago, but I've only just been able to comment on it. In December 11th, Alyssa Mercante, who is a truly vile, disgusting ex-Kotaku worker, filed a lawsuit against a YouTuber named SMashJT. This lawsuit alleges various things, including the normal slew of lawsuit bullshit like defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and one particularly fascinating thing that I've never seen before, a count of common law, which means not actually a statute. There are certain things in the legal system which are laws and things you can be sued for, but they only exist as case law. They don't actually exist as written law, and that's called common law. Intentional infliction of emotional distress, I think, is a common law tort. I think defamation is also a common law tort. There's the idea that if you say something untrue, it depends. But the one that they're suing for is definitely not a written law. It is stochastic terrorism. This is not a law. This is not a law even in New York. I think business conspiracy is one of the torts, but what they've sued for is common law, unwritten stochastic terrorism, alleging that the act of stochastic terrorism is a crime unto itself that is obvious to people and should be remedied by the court, even if it's not written into a statute. And they're accusing SmashJT of being guilty of stochastic terrorism. What does that mean? The term comes from the Spanish Civil War, from my understanding, where the opposing sides of this conflict would randomly assassinate each other's leaders and politicians. And let's pull something completely out of the hat. Let's say that you're involved in a controversial industry. I don't know, like healthcare. Healthcare is pretty controversial. I don't think healthcare providers are usually in the high esteem. Let's say that somebody goes out and just kills, and I would never condone that, but for the sake of argument, let's say that somebody goes out and kills a CEO of a healthcare providing company. Now, that man is dead. And if you just look directly at the mathematical outcomes of this, he will simply be replaced. And just because he's dead, it doesn't really necessarily mean that the direction of the company will go in a different way. Like, sure, the new CEO could have new ways of doing things, but from a very literal sense, there is no assurance that the new guy, the new replacement, will be any better than the old guy. Except when you consider in stochastic terrorism, the idea that anybody might be shot next. There might be copycats. There might be other CEOs of other companies. The new CEO might also be shot. People outside of the CEO role in different positions may also be shot. And that fear may encourage them to behave differently. And that is called stochastic terrorism. And that was a thing that I believe was coined during the Spanish Civil War, but has become a popular term in new rhetoric. Because terrorism can be many things. It can be any kind of harassment, any kind of life ruination. It can be things like physical violence or even outright murder, but it can be a whole slew of things. And so Alyssa Mercante is accusing SmashJT, a YouTuber, of stochastic terrorism because she is saying that he is bullying her so hard that he is attempting to squash the freedoms of other people involved in games journalism and prevent them from doing their jobs as they would prefer to do because they are so afraid of the mob rule and so afraid that he may strike anybody at any time. And the only way to avoid being cut down is to not be the tall poppy. That is what she's alleging. Effectively, she says that his audience is a mob. And even though he is not directly inciting any particular act, he is cumulatively guilty for all things that have happened to her, and she alleges that he orchestrated it. The lawsuit specifically invokes the name of the Great War, the most important thing that ever happened, ever, in modern internet history. Gamergate. She says that he is trying to start Gamergate 2.0, and he is trying to make her the new Brianna Wu or the new Zoe Quinn. And this, of course, is stochastic terrorism. It is repeated multiple. I think I can just search it for you. Let's see. Gamergate. There we go. Oh, it's in the opening paragraph, chat. Modern video game enthusiasm is marked by the presence of a semi-organized, outrage-driven campaign for harassment, like 2014's infamous Gamergate. Dun, dun, dun. How many? 24 Gamergates. I'll read every one. In the second paragraph, in 2024, a small Montreal-based narrative development and consulting company, Sweet Baby Inc., found itself at the center of a fresh controversy, incorrectly accused by Gamergate enthusiasts of forcibly inserting gender, sexual, and ethnic minority characters into the game or otherwise tweaking its narrative presentation in a favor of a liberal bent. Wikipedia. Gamergate harassment campaign. First citation, first paragraph, Wikipedia. Gamergate. Lock that nigga up. SMashJT, throw him in the duty poopy cell that we put Osama bin Laden in. Ship that nigga off to Cuba. We're putting him in Gitmo, where the other terrorists are. Let's mention 3. Oh, these are other citations. Murag Farouk Manesh, the small company at the center of Gamergate 2.0. Those clamoring for Sweet Baby's demise choose the appellation of Gamergate 2.0 for themselves. Enterprising grifters tapped into that wave of rising outrage to lift their own profiles. A background. This is the statement of fact. Backgrounds. A brief history of Gamergate. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 3 paragraphs. Very nice. Let me guess. Harassment campaign, depression clash. Okay. Actor Adam Baldwin. I mean, she didn't cite Mount Gamergate, where dedicated gamers climbed a mountain face and carved Adam Baldwin's face right next to Jim's, right next to Ethan Ralph's. That should be a piece of evidence. Gamergate targets. Oh, sorry. This is just continuation of Gamergate Forever. Okay, I'm going to read this. These are statements of facts. This is Alyssa Mercante, as according to her attorney. Until Tarzia's campaign of harassment took a toll he intended it to take, Alyssa Mercante was the senior editor at Kotaku. Alyssa Mercante has written for other publications such as Jalopnik, Jezebel, Games Radar, SFX, and The Rolling Stone. Mercante is also active on social media, where she is not a demure, wilting flower. She is bold, brassy, and opinionated. Well, it sounds like she can handle herself and shouldn't be suing. Because of Mercante's prominent role, outspoken view. This is, by the way, is a really dumb paragraph. It's like you're writing a defense for why you had to use self-defense, and it's like statement of facts. Rittenhouse is a really strong, cool guy who's extremely good at using guns and has excellent situational awareness. Like, you don't have to suck your own dick. In fact, it probably hurts you to suck your own dick in this context where you're pleading that you are a victim of stochastic terrorism and cyberbullying and shit. Because of Mercante's prominent role, outspoken views, and position at Kotaku, she became the target of the ire of Tarzia and his ilk. Mercante, as a female journalist active in video game space, lived through Gamergate the first time, is perfectly poised to report on its re-emergence. As a result, well, then she should be able to handle the comes with it. As a result of the dedicated campaign against her, Mercante left. Mercante is perfectly poised to report on its re-emergence. As a result of the campaign against her, she left her position at Kotaku. It's like the massive comedy and tragedy, like flipping back and forth between each paragraph. Without Jeff Tarzio's relentless focus on Mercante, Kotaku's managerial staff would never have felt any pressure to part ways with her. Covers game culture, fits into the cultural phenomenon known as the alt-right, or alternative right wing, a loosely affiliated group of mostly younger conservative pundits who eschew much of the traditional trappings of conservatism in favor of a more activist, more confrontational style. Uses alt-right, super alt-right, right-wing politics. SMashJT. SMashJT. Operates SMashJT. Is the publisher of SMashJT, SMashJT, and SMashJT. Publishes to SMashJT. And much of that content targeted Alyssa Mercante. Okay, so he joins Gamergate. The reaction from reactionaries was predictable. Citing a video that he made. He posts that he's profiting from making fun of her. Cool. He picked up the label Gamergate, shared on Hex, formerly Twitter. Get to the stochastic terror. Oh my god. Ew, she's so oogly, chat. Ew, so oogly. Why is she so oogly? Okay. Terrorism. 4 matches. 5th cause of action. Common law, stochastic terrorism, and prima facie tort. This cause of action includes all foregoing paragraphs. Courts have common law power to recognize new civilly actionable wrong when appropriate. New York has arguably codified that general power in its cause of action for prima facie tort. Under either approach, the harassment campaign is actionable as below. Have recognized a new common law tort related to escalating harassment or stochastic terrorism. According to Washington, that's a thing, I guess. New York has made bias-related intimidation or harassment a civil cause of action. He is discriminating against her by calling her a crazy as he does. He is teaching this crazy a lesson through stochastic terrorism. Tarzio claimed that the basis for his campaigns is the betterment of the industry, by which he means the removal of Mercante and people like her from that space. That's protected speech, though. Like, you can advocate that certain. In fact, that's preferable. If you want to advocate that somebody should be removed from a position of power, there's generally 2 ways to go about it. One of them utilizes freedom of speech to protest that person's position of power, and the other one does not use freedom of speech and is actually illegal. So generally speaking, it is in the interest of civilized society that people can use speech to advocate that people be not in a position of power. Just as a thought. He released a big statement. His goal is silencing people with whom he disagrees. This is in regards to her threatening to sue him. They said that she wants. It doesn't say anything about wanting to silence her. Yeah, there's nothing there. This is like a completely false representation of what he wrote. I'll save it until the end. I have a thought. Regarding this, so the main thing is that let's scroll up to a picture of her. This woman is oogly. I look at her and I think, wow, what an oogly hoe. What an ugly, ugly, nasty woman. Just genuinely vile. Loves to post pictures of herself naked. Looks disgusting. Wait, is this entire thing just about... He made a claim that she sucks dick for money. And that's their main point of contention, is that he made the claim that she is a sex worker and sucks dick for money. She denies, Alyssa Mercante denies that she has ever sucked a dick for payment. She does it for free all day long, chat. She's very pro-sex. She supports her heckin' sex worker friends, and every dick that she sucked, she's done it without any form of compensation, monetarily or otherwise. That would be clarified. That would be considered or categorized as sex work. So I think that his insistence that she sucks dick for money is just that she's obviously like a super nasty hoe, and then she's involved in the game industry, so therefore she must be sucking dick for money, as opposed to what we lovingly refer to on the show as sucking dick for cock. As we know, there are people out there, including wheelchair-bound fursuiters, who go to conventions and loudly cry out to the world that they love sucking dick for cock. And Alyssa Mercante appears to be someone who doesn't suck dick for money. She protests very loudly. She sucks dick for cock. So if she only sucks dick for cock and doesn't suck dick for money, then I guess SmashJT could be in the wrong. There are a couple things that do count as common law defamation. And I know things like STDs are them. If you say somebody has AIDS who doesn't have AIDS, that's actually per se defamation, and you can be sued for that. There's a couple other things like that that are sex related. I want to say being a prostitute or having been a prostitute might be per se defamation. Let me ask somebody real quick. Hold up. Is calling someone a prostitute or former prostitute per se defamation? It might be, because it causes harm to their reputation. She has AIDS in I can dark mode on PDF, bro, on Mulvad. I don't see if no dark mode, bro. Do you see a dark mode? Okay. Let's continue. See, the real thing is, if she just wants to sue over that, that's actually a pretty good claim, I suppose. It's probably the only good claim that she has. So, but the issue is, let me save it. I'll save it towards the end. Okay, this is the other thing that he did that is really, really, really dumb. Alyssa Mercante months ago threatened to sue SmashJT, and ever since then, he has repeatedly gone out on social media and said, where's the lawsuit, Alyssa? No, I thought you were going to sue me, Alyssa. Aren't you going to sue me, Alyssa? I thought you were going to sue me. Where's that lawsuit? Never, ever, 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 for any reason, say to somebody that they should sue you, because it looks really, really bad. It looks really bad. Never do it, ever. To the point where the 10th Circuit, I told Russell Greer, that because he said he was going to sue me if I didn't take down criticism about his book. And he said that you won't prevail on a fair use charge. And I said, try me. And that was directly utilized by the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals to say that I contributed to copyright infringement because I said, try me. Well, guess what? When you go out and you say, where is the lawsuit? Sue me, bro. Over and over and over again. That is significantly worse. So I would never, ever, for any reason, dare somebody, double dog dare somebody to sue me. For the record, Alyssa Mercante, even though she is a dirty hoe, and when I say hoe, let me clarify. I want to get this on the record. When I say hoe, I'm not referring to an actual literal lady of the night, a prostitute, or a sex worker. I am saying somebody who is nasty looking, who looks like she could be involved in sex work. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if she said, yes, I have sucked dick for money. I would be like, that lines up pretty well with how you look, because you look like a prostitute. But I'm not actually saying that she's a prostitute. Metaphorically a whore, that's correct. From a spiritual level. So their legal argument is that New York and this court should introduce a new form of made-up law on the spot because they asked very nicely for it, and it's going to be terrorism. And they asked for money. They asked for a lot of money at the end. Now let's take a look at the respectfully submitted Lane Haygood and Don McGowan, who's acting pro hoc VJ. Not that there's something wrong with that. From Cameron Unkick Soniker and Klein, aka Cusk Law. Cusk Law. Oh, the same Cusk Law that transcribes every single minute the internet podcast because Liz Fong Jones pays them to? The same Cusk Law that was paid by Liz Fong Jones to dox somebody who allegedly posted on the Kiwi Farms and worked to conspire to get them fired from their job, i.e. the exact same thing alleged in this paperwork as being a common law tort, a civil tort, getting someone fired. Isn't that interesting, chat? Isn't that, it's a small fucking world, huh? Fascinating. Which backs up my thought that this might be efforts by them, like this whole about like common law torts for stochastic terrorism. I feel like they're suing this guy who doesn't have enough money to adequately defend himself because their long shot goal is to introduce common law remedies for stochastic terrorism, which is basically just anybody doing anything that you don't like, and being able to pin it on somebody else. Because if he fails in this lawsuit and that somehow gets introduced as like a default judgment or something, then they'll say, but the Kiwi Farms, Josh Moon, they're also stochastic terrorists. Isn't that interesting? I feel like that's the goal. Because Liz Fong Jones, I believe, is paying for all this. And you know what? Even though this is a bullshit law, and certain attorneys that I happen to be friends with have said that not only is this lawsuit so deficient, so unprofessional, so sloppy and inflammatory, and so weak in its propositions and its inclusions of torts that literally, admittedly, don't even fucking exist, that it would potentially be sanctionable upon the attorneys who have presented it, because it is so gratuitously unprofessional. So I would be interested in seeing what happens. But at the same time, despite this, SmashJT has to pay for it and has to pursue those kinds of remedies. And even just looking at this lawsuit, knowing that it's probably funded by someone malicious like Liz Fong Jones, SmashJT is probably going to be out of $50,000 just to deal with this, even though it is a complete. So that's how evil it is when people with the court system, and we need some way to like deal with vexatious litigants like Alyssa Mercante who file lawsuits that don't even have actual causes of action in them. Because it costs people money, and it shouldn't be a system where the person with the most money can file the most in court and just randomly bankrupt people who you don't like. That's stupid.